Hi, everyone. Hi, conscious lovers. Hi, lovelies. It's Mayan joining you here for day 4. I can't believe it, but we're on day 4 of Find Time for Your Partner amidst the holiday hassle. And I'm really just wanting to acknowledge you for joining us on this journey, for taking this time out and being curious about the ways that you can continue to be intentional and deliberate about making your relationship the best that it can be and finding ways to really simplify, because that's what it's all about. And to find your own style, your own way, your own rhythms and things that appeal to you so that you're more likely to feel motivated and really bring this to your relationship in an ongoing way and not have it just be something that you watched and forgot about. So I want to hear from you, if you're joining me on the replay or if you're here live, what your biggest takeaways have been so far. Day 1, just to remind you, we talked about making the decision and really being fully committed to your relationship and to being deliberate about cultivating more authentic intimacy. Day 2 was all about boundaries and a way that you can really personalize boundaries to protect the parts of your relationship that matter most to you. And then yesterday on day 3, I talked about the power of presence and intention and just how, we are sensitive as human beings and we pick up on someone's intention behind the words. So the more you're able to connect with your loving intention and have that match what you say in your relationship, the more genuine you'll be, the more disarming it'll be to your partner, and the more safety you can create in your relationship moving forward. And then today, I want to talk about how you can really follow pleasure as a way of guiding you towards more connection. And it can be subtle. It can be something really small that you create a ritual around. For example, I know couples who will juice together. They'll make a healthy juice together or a green smoothie or something and send each other off to their day with that green smoothie. Or it could be having a cup of tea or wine together after the kids are asleep. It could be just having time to sit next to each other and watch something that you really enjoy. I have a couple who, had an argument about how they want to spend that little bit of time that they had once the kids were asleep. And she wanted to watch her favorite show. He wanted to talk and connect with her. And they came up with a compromise. They would watch one episode of her favorite show together. And then they actually just decided on like a 20-minute time frame where they would just check in with each other and ask how their day went and just know that they could still get to sleep on time, because that was something he worried about. He had to wake up at 5 a.m. or something to commute, and still have that check-in be something that they built into their day. And the reason they were avoiding it is because he would often worry that if things would come up late at night, it would turn into like these long, intense emotional conversations into the night, and then the next day would be hard for him to function. So he would avoid it altogether, and she never really knew, his partner, why he would avoid that. So finding, having some boundaries around the times that you want to spend together, even if it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and then really showing up with genuine interest and curiosity in your partner, with the intention of checking in and asking, how are we feeling? How are we doing? Not just how am I and how are you, which are important also, but what's going on between us? What do we need more of? Where are we as a couple feeling depleted or stressed? Who can we look to outside of ourselves for more support? Where can we simplify? Having those kinds of conversations. What matters most to each of us and to us together? When are we happiest together? Those are all ways that you can really tune into that living, breathing organism, which is your relationship, and check in with it more continuously and more often. And rituals for connection are one really great shortcut or way to do that. again, like I said, it could be just sharing a really delicious hug when you come home, and greeting each other, and not kind of going into logistics right away, just preserving or protecting those 5 minutes to settle in at home, and to give each other a hug and to welcome each other back, before you kind of go into all the things you need to do or take care of, or your like to-do list into that mode or that state. So I want you to think about a ritual for you that you can create. My husband makes my coffee every morning, which is something small, but we're really kind of into it. We get beans from a place that we really love, and we try different ones from different regions in the world, and he grinds the beans in the morning, and it's like it could be something very simple that you repeat every day. It doesn't have to be novel or new even, but there's comfort in it, right? Some of you know, actually I don't know if I've ever shared this, but some of you know, or shared this here at least, some of you know that originally I'm from Israel, but I grew up on 3 continents. I moved a lot, and I had the pleasure and the honor of living with different families while I was in high school. And one of the families that I lived with, they were from the Netherlands originally, just amazing, amazing family. And I will always look up to the parents in that family, to them as a couple, because at the time, it seemed just very different from anything I'd seen before. But today I can appreciate even more how deliberate they were about how they started their day together. And I remember, at like somewhere around 5:30 in the morning, I was in high school, I would be woken up, which sometimes was a little difficult because I wanted to sleep, but I would hear the bath water running kind of behind the walls, and I knew that they were waking up. The parents in this family were waking up, and they would have a bath, and then I would hear them chanting for about an hour. I'm not exaggerating, for about an hour every single day. They would meditate and chant, and then they would join us for breakfast. And that was their time before anyone else woke up. They didn't have young kids, so they were able to sleep through the night. They weren't sleep deprived. I know that's not always realistic for everyone here, but they would wake up together and start the day on their terms before any other outside interruptions or forces could run interference with them as a couple. And I just remember like waking up to that and feeling like things were really calm in that household, in that family. And it's partially because they were able to have this ritual, this daily ritual that they created and evolved together over the years. I don't think they missed a day during a weekday or a weekend that I lived with them for over a year. And it's just a really beautiful thing. So it doesn't have to be something like that. It doesn't have to require you to wake up before dawn or to chant for an hour, although that might be really wonderful for some people. I want you to find some ritual, as brief as it can be as brief as it needs to be, but some way of connecting, of refinding each other and yourselves in the midst of all the chaos and all the different distractions and things that are competing for your attention every day. And it's such a wonderful thing if you're raising children, for your children to see that you and your partner have your own relationship, that you share a really special bond with each other as a family, but that you also have your own relationship and that you enjoy being with each other, that, you as parents derive pleasure from and are delighted to be in each other's presence, at least some of the time. Is one of the best gifts I feel we could ever give our children, because it's such a hopeful thing, right? And it's so comforting to them. First of all, it relieves them, our children, of the responsibility to make us happy, because a lot of children feel that. And they know that there's something separate outside of them that they're not responsible for, that we get to cultivate on our own as parents within our own marriage, that they can also benefit from. and that we have our own place to get resourced and to feel understood, that it's not all up to them. And I think that children just really get so much from having parents who have ways of weaving in more pleasure and hope and things to get excited about, things to dream about, and having these little ways in your day of creating those opportunities, whether it's journaling or with each other or alone, or just creating your own, coming up with your own little rituals, and being free to change them as you wish, because they are for you. So you're not locked into anything that you don't enjoy. You can always get to change it if you want to, but just to give yourself permission to do that and to build that in first, and then kind of schedule other things around it, can be a very empowering way to begin your day, or to move through the day, or to mark the end of a day. And transitions tend to be a really good time to weave those kinds of things in. That's something I wanted to make sure I say. So for many, many people, just like it is important for children to have someone help them at the end of the day, to wind down, to put them to sleep, to say good night, to help them verbalize anything that they may have been worried about during the day, or that they're afraid of the next day, or to just ask them what they enjoyed or what they're grateful for. It's like a time to reflect, right? So nighttime is a really important transition for children and adults. When we first see each other, when we come back from work or school, or just being out and about, that's an important time. Any kind of big or little transition could be a time to create a ritual. But you're not limited to that. You're free to create them anywhere and anytime you want. And they can be brief. They can be just a few seconds, a certain gaze, touch, just slowing down and genuinely smiling with each other or at each other. Or they can be more elaborate and include, some of your passions, if you like to cook together, or if you enjoy doing something on your date night. So see where you might have opportunities to create more rituals and to bring more pleasure into your day without you having to wait for it to happen. And I don't want you to wait till inspiration strikes either, because if you wait for somebody else or for the universe to clear the path and to kind of have everything be aligned just right so that you can finally get back to pleasure, unfortunately, that doesn't tend to work so well, right? We end up feeling more depleted and disappointed. So take these small opportunities to claim that right, that birthright you have to have more pleasure in your life. It doesn't have to cost money. It doesn't have to be complicated. And I can't wait to hear, your creative ideas and what you co-create with your partners. And this has been really, really fun for me to do these little 10-minute lives today. I don't know if I went over that. I probably did. I don't know how long I've been talking for. Probably closer to 15 minutes. But let me know how this was for you. If this is a format that you enjoy, I'll try to do this again soon. And let me know if you have any other topics that you'd like for me to address, and where this goes for you. Okay? Lots and lots of love. And again, want to really acknowledge you for taking the time and devoting the energy and giving this your attention. And I really am trusting that it can do wonders in your relationship. Take care. Bye.